Children of the blessing. Hello. Now, Paul, he will talk to the ancient Christians at Rome about some truths that happened to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When God called Abraham, he made a covenant with him that his offspring, God would make them, he would make them into a people for himself. For this is what the promise said: About this time next year I will return, and Sarah shall have a son. Of course, the Apostle Paul, he is mentioning the Sarah who is Abraham's wife. The promise that God gave to Abraham was also given to Isaac, his son. And not only so, but also when Rebekah had conceived children by one man, our forefather Isaac, his wife was named Rebekah, and she was the mother of twin boys. And it was the custom in that ancient culture that the first son born to the father would receive the blessing. The blessing would be bestowed to that child only because he was the firstborn. A long time ago, during Abraham's culture, the Lord, he had made a covenant with Abraham. The blessing was always to go to the first son, right? First son of the father. But in this case, it did not. It happened that Abraham had a son from a son named Ishmael, and he was born from his wife's slave. And this was acceptable during their culture back then. He was the first son, but he did not receive the blessing. No, not the spiritual blessing. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son whom Hagar bore Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. The blessing, the birthright, wow, they were important. It meant that so many good things was given to the firstborn son. The reason was because they were born first. But now we have another interesting situation. And that is that Rebecca, she's pregnant with twin boys, and God told her that before the boys were born. He told her, You will have two sons. Now, this lesson, how do we apply it to our lives today? In our culture in America, the firstborn son, does he receive blessings from the father? No, not in our culture today, American culture. But in this other culture of long ago, the firstborn son received wealth, privilege. My point is, the child also knew that he was going to receive this as he was growing up. Now, in Isaac's family, it has a special significance because Abraham, his son Isaac, he was giving him the birthright and the spiritual blessing that would have eternal ramifications. Today we have sons and daughters and we love them equally, and we teach them about the one true God. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. Today, as Christians, we are commanded to teach our children about the one true God. Coram Deo. To live Coram Deo is to live one's entire life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God.